Good morning, all of you. Hello, how are you? Think so. You all are fine at home. Welcome for the online lecture series of our paper Plant Pathology, fifth semester. So, let us start with our today's presentation, that is Introduction to Plant Pathology. Now, what is plant pathology? Plant pathology is also known as phytopathology. It is a branch of agriculture, biological or botanical science which deals with study of diseases in plants, their cause, epidemiology, resulting loss and their management. Okay, a plant disease is an abnormal condition that alters the appearance of the function of the plant. It is a physiological process that affects some or the all the plant functions. Disease may also reduce the yield and the quality or quality of the harvested product. Okay, now what is plant disease? Visible effects or disease on the plants are called as symptoms. Any detectable changes in the color, shape, or the function of the plant in response to the pathogen or disease causing agent is also called as the symptom. As we have discussed in our regular lecture की बाबा सिम्टम्स काय असतात किंवा प्लांट डिजीज काय असतो किंवा प्लांट डिजीजचं आयडेंटिफिकेशन कसं करायचं हे देखील आपण पाहिलेलं आहे. नाव दे आर sign of plant disease are physical evidences of the pathogen. For example, fungal fruiting bodies, bacterial zone, or nematodal sites. Signs also can help with the plant disease identification. Means the signs which are seen can be also used for the disease identification. Now, what causes plant diseases? Infection of plant diseases are caused by living organisms that attack or obtain their nutrition from the plant and the plant that they infect. The parasite organisms that causes a disease in a pathogen. Numerous fungi, bacteria, viruses and nematodes are the pathogen of corn and soybean in love. The plant invaded by pathogen are serving as its source of food is referred as a host. That means it is the host which helps the pathogen to grow in. Now, type of pathogens, there are mainly four different types, that is fungi, bacteria, virus and nematodes. Role of the environment. Now we know what is environment or study of environment we have seen in environmental biology. The environment is a region surrounding the organism. A favorable environment is critically important for the disease development. Even the most susceptible plant exposed to a huge amount of the pathogen will not help disease and will not develop disease unless environmental conditions are favorable. Now we can see the pictures of the plants. Now this is a disease cycle in which we can see the three main triangles which are included in the disease triangle, that is environment, pathogen and host. There is an interaction between these three triangles. Then this is a picture of soybean rust. Now group of plant pathogen, that is fungi. Vast majority are beneficial because it can cause plant, human and livestock diseases. Most cannot be seen without a microscope. As we know everyone that most of fungi cannot be seen with our naked eyes or the spores. They lack in chlorophyll. The compost of growing structure is delicate thread-like filaments called as hyphae, reproduced by the formation of spores. That is, reproduction in fungi is by formation of spores. Now group of pathogen, that is bacteria, extremely small organism requiring microscope to be seen. Bacteria population can increase in number in a very short time of period. Cell clump together in mass called as colonies. Obtain food from dead or decaying organic matter or living tissue. Spread plant to plant by wind or driven rain gain entrance through the natural plant opening or by the injuries. That means it enters the body of the plant by that injuries or by the natural opening. And we have also last time we have seen bacteria, the characters of bacteria, how the bacteria reproduce, or what is bacteria. Okay, now this is a it is a role of bacteria as a pathogen for the disease causing. Now next is viruses. Most familiar because they can cause human and animal diseases such as influenza, polio, rabies, smallpox, and warts. Cause some destructive plant diseases. Measure only about 1 million of an inch in size. Are not complete living systems. They survive only in the living cells. Now we are all suffering from an pandemic disease, that is COVID-19. That is also a type of virus which is causing a human disease, that is corona disease, which is now a big problem for all the living organisms for the human beings, not living organism, for the human beings. The next is group of plant that is nematodes. Around cylindrical thread like worm. Some are parasites or animals, insects, fungi, and other nematodes and the plants. Plant parasitic nematodes have a style. Most live in soil and feed in or on the plant roots. Mainly they feed in the on the plant roots. Now disease cycle. Now we can see the structure or the T, diagram, that is disease cycle. Survival, inoculum produced, dispersal, infection, colonization, symptoms, and production of severe structures. Now this is a table comparison of disease cycles which you can see: fungi, bacteria, viruses, and nematodes. Their survival, dispersal, and infection. All the we can see the different stages of the different pathogens. Now inoculum. Source of inoculum varies from each disease. It may be produced or residue left in the field, then present in the soil. Inoculum, that means inoculum is a portion where the pathogens remain or pathogens survive. It may be in the residues left in the field, or it may be in the soil. It may be in the weeds or the crops or in the area, present on the seed, present in the soil, sticking to the equipments or tools, carried by wind or water, carried by insect vectors, or carried by animals, birds, or people. How inoculum spread? Now, there are two ways. That is, plant placed in the soil that contains pathogen. Inoculums move from its source to the host plant. Now penetration of inoculum, we can see. Infection. It occurs when a pathogen successfully enters in a plant and grows, reproduces, and spread within the plant. Pathogen enters a host through the natural opening, wound, or plant's surfaces, or by penetrating directly into the plant. Now we can see the structure, how it is the pathogen is penetrating into the tissue of the plant or the tissue of the host. You can see spore germination, penetration, mycelium growth, postulate formation, or sporulation. Now secondary cycle. Some diseases have only one cycle during the growing season, that is often root rots. Some diseases develop secondary or repeating cycles during the growing seasons, that is often foliar diseases. Number of cycles depend upon the disease and sustainability of the host condition. This is a structure of the disease cycle, where we can see on the beneath the leaf. Pathogen survival. How does the pathogen survive, or how is the survival stage of the pathogen? Pathogens survive season to season in soil. They live in the soil, or they stay in the soil for many days. Crop residue. Crop residue means crop which the leftover of the crop is there, that is the crop residue or the parts of the crop. Weeds or non-crop host, means they live on the weeds or on the non-crop hosts, means the crop which are the plants which are not the crops but they are the host of the pathogen. Then seeds or the vegetative plant parts, insects, and mild climates. Now most of the pathogens survive in the soil only, or on the dead material, or on the leftover of the plant. Okay, now coming shortly, now we can see the summary. overall summary of this PPT, today's presentation of the PPT, is that understanding the difference between a sign and a symptom, that is sign and a symptom. So now sign and a symptom is a key identification in plant diseases. We know that when we are going to understand or when we are going to study, we should first know that which is a sign and which is a symptom. आता सिम्टम्स आणि साईन मधला फरक काय आहे हे आपण लक्षात घेणं गरजेचं आहे. सिम्टम्स आणि साईन दोन्हीमध्ये आपण कन्फ्युजन व्हायचं नाही. बोथ आर इम्पॉर्टंट, बोथ आर युजफुल फॉर द डिजीज आयडेंटिफिकेशन. दॅट्स मीन आपल्याला साईन काय आणि सिम्टम काय हे लक्षात आलं पाहिजे. देन अ प्लांट डिजीज कॅनॉट डेव्हलप इन अ susceptible host, pathogen and favorable condition do not occur simultaneously. The major plant pathogen responsible for disease develop in plant and fungi, bacteria, viruses and nematodes. The disease cycle describes the interaction of the plant host. That means the disease cycle describes the interaction of plant host with the plant pathogen with the host. Okay, this is the overall summary of the lecture, which is just an introduction regarding the plant pathogen. I have in last lecture also I have given many videos which we can understand or we can study the history of plant pathology and disease cycle, disease causing organisms, or what are plant classification. So this was the overall introduction regarding the plant pathology. So I think everyone have listened it and understood the lecture, and you can see whenever you want, and you have to remove your notes, or you can take down your notes from the presentation and prepare your notes prepare the notes in your notebook. Okay, thank you. Stay home, stay safe, take care.